Well, folks, I am back like partying like Stefon Diggs for the last few days, and it's a brand new episode of the Terranadome. Today, we will talk about a full deep dive on the disastrous state of your Boston Red Sox, something I never thought I would be doing, no, let alone this early in the year, but that I thought I would be doing at all this season if you told me coming into it. And then it's over to the NBA playoffs as we are on the brink of knowing which two teams, we already know one of them, but which two teams will be playing for this year's NBA championship. We'll do a little segment on that. And finally, the aforementioned Stefon Diggs is part of the quick hit segment, which is back this week. And I will discuss five fast paced topics of the jam packed segment. It's an all new The Terranadome. And it starts right out. The Terranadome. Minnesota was doomed from the start. I mean, this was a ass whooping. There's nothing short of that. It was a complete ass whooping. But I will tell you what, my friend, nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. And it is time to get them back in the AFC Championship game. I believe that, listen, you're right about Derrick Henry, especially in cold weather. No one's going to want to tackle that guy. So it's going to be imperative for the Buffalo Bills to jump out early in this game and get a lead and force Lamar Jackson to have to play from behind. They can do that. They're going to win this game. Mention things that we love to hear, like we're getting the entitlement out of our team, and we're going to earn the opportunity to come into this building every day. I absolutely love that. One thing I will say for sure, yes, they definitely need to go and spend some friggin' money. They're going to have the most cap space in the league, and I'm going to kill them every week on this show until they spend money.
Known as fair and square throughout my years, so I growl at the living foul. Black to the bone, my home is your home.
Well, welcome to Terranadome. The Terranadome, and it starts right now. Well, folks, it is a jam-packed session for today. It's a solo show for me. It's been a while since I've done one of these. Of course, my name is Scott Terrana. It's the Terranadome. We are coming to you from beautiful Rhode Island, where it has been cloudy and crappy, and it will continue to be through the weekend as well. In fact, we got another big weekend storm system coming up. And I will be at the NHRA Nationals up in New Hampshire this weekend, so I'm really hoping that somehow the forecast does not play out the way it's supposed to. Welcome into the show, folks. It has been a little bit over a week now. Today, we're going to start with maybe not but my Boston Red Sox. And folks, they are mismanaged and they are free falling. They sit at 27-31, 4 games past the third mark in the season. 4 games under 500. They have lost 5 straight and 2 in a row via walk-off to the Milwaukee Brewers. And get this, they have lost 11 of their last 16 games. Hard to believe, especially what we thought was going to happen with this team coming into the season. Their over-under on win totals for betting books, markets, was 87.5. Right now, they're not going to come close to that. They won't even be a 500 team, but more on that in a little bit. Now, Alex Bregman, their second best overall player, their biggest offseason signing, I should say. I remember Garrett Crochet was acquired via trade. Bregman, clearly their second best overall player thus far in the season, but 6 games ago, he rounded first base and he pulled his quad, and now it looks like he may be up to as long as 2 months, depending on who you listen to. And of course, the Red Sox are now 1-5 since the injury. More troubling than that, they have scored 3 runs or fewer in 7 of their last 10 days. Stop me, but it gets worse. Think about this. Rafael Devers, the guy that we were all mad at the beginning of the season, right? Guy who couldn't hit a beach ball at the beginning of the season. Well, all he's done is carry your ass from the plate in May. Devers in May, a 365 average, an OBP north of 470. That means he's getting on base 47% of the time. Ridiculous. His OPS is over 1,100. 7 home runs, 31 RBI in 26 games played. And the Red Sox are 10-16 in the month of May. Can you imagine how bad this would be if he was hitting 275, 265 instead of the 365 that he's hitting? Because I don't want to imagine that world right now. Okay, where else do we have problems? The manager, Alex Cora, no longer seems engaged, no longer seems like a weapon off the bench, but rather out of touch and maybe even disinterested. And that's concerning. It's almost like he got his money, like a lot of players do. He got his money, and now it's like, I'm good. I'm guaranteed. Remember, he signed a 3-year deal in the offseason. For example, a guy whose strength, Alex Cora, strength was supposed to be communication with the players, right? Well, couldn't convince Rafael Devers to go back into the field yet, but discussions are ongoing. Maybe he ends up going to first base, but I guess third base, that's out of the question. Young rookie Christian Campbell, number 7 prospect in baseball that made the roster on opening day, had a pretty good first month, but he is really, really struggling right now. 7 for his last 73, and yet he's being asked to play 3 different positions defensively, but you can't get Devers to play 1. And I get it. I've made the argument for the other side of it. I get it, okay? But meanwhile, you've got him going 7 for 73, and he's being asked to play 3 different positions at the major league level as a 22-year-old. That's going to stunt his growth at the plate. He will play first base in a game in this weekend series coming up against the Atlanta Braves. Incredible. Marcelo Meyer finally got the call a week ago. He's played in 6 games. He was batting cleanup in his 5th game. So many problems with this team. Another example of Cora's questionable management. Yesterday, Brian Bayo was actually throwing the ball well for once, and he gets taken out 4 2/3 into the game at 77 pitches because Jarren Duran dropped the ball, and he didn't think that Bayo could get Christian Yelich out, so they took him out in the 5th inning, despite the fact that this bullpen is taxed to hell. Here's an example of that. Cora in the bullpen, and granted, a lot of this isn't really his fault if his starters suck, right? But here's the May numbers for the pitching staff. Red Sox starting pitchers in the month of May are 2-7. 2 wins from the starting pitchers. It's May 29th. 2 wins from the starting pitching staff. They are 2-7 with a 4.33 ERA. They have thrown 131 combined innings in 26 games. The bullpen is not the problem with this team. Sorry, Josh, you're wrong on this one. The bullpen is not the problem. The bullpen is burned out. You don't want to know why? In the month of May, the bullpen is 8-9. They have 8 of your 10 wins. The bullpen. Because starters aren't going past the 5th inning. They're not even getting to the 5th inning in a lot of places. The bullpen's ERA is almost a full run lower in May. It is a 3.44, a very good ERA for the month of May for the bullpen. And they've thrown 104 2/3 innings. So let's say that another way. In 26 May games, the Red Sox starting pitchers have pitched 26 1/3 more innings than the bullpen. What? Starting pitching depth is not there. Bullpen, not the problem. One of the few things that aren't a problem with this team. Pretty much everything else is. Unless you want to count, you want to count for Jarren Duran, Devers' bat, Bregman before he got hurt, and Wilyer Abreu. Other than that, everything else is a problem right now for this team. Underperforming pitchers. I can get 4 of them that were supposed to be your starters at the outset. Tanner Houck, who's now hurt. Walker Buehler, not the same Walker Buehler, guys, and he'll even tell you that, but he is not the same Walker Buehler. 2 Tommy Johns is 1 too many. Lucas Giolito's ERA over 5, and Brian Bayo, who has not gone past 5 innings in 5 straight starts. It's not good enough. Andrew Bailey Magic, gone. Gone. Maybe you need a new voice in that position already at pitching coach. I don't know. At or better than expected, Garrett Crochet. End of list. Dick Fitz. I'm saying Dick Fitz. Richard Fitz, who just came back. It has now made, I think, 5 starts on the season. You know, yesterday, I think he only threw 55, 60 pitches, something like that, because they had to bring him back so soon because they can't afford to keep running Hunter Dobbins out there. So Dick Fitz comes back. If he gets you a 4 ERA, you have to be happy with that. He's supposed to be a number 5 starter, not like a number 3. Okay? But your real problem, and I'm going to keep saying it on this show, over and over and over and over, I will never stop saying this. Your real problem is Trevor Story, a guy you were paying $22.5 million to. He has 2 extra base hits in his last 32 games, and one of them was against a position player. So bad. He needs to go. End of story. And I'll keep saying it until he is gone in any capacity. Do a fake injury. Do whatever you got to do. Cora was on EEI this afternoon saying, well, we know we got to get Trevor Story going. Maybe he's not capable of it anymore. You ever stopped and thought about that? Have you guys thought about that for even 1 second? I don't care what the contract says. It was a bad contract from the go. It was the previous general manager that made the deal. Sayonara. I don't care what you have to do. Maybe the Rockies would be stupid enough to take him back. You're still going to have to eat, even if the Rockies are dumb enough to take him back. You're eating 2/3 of that 50 something million you owe him. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And they're going to keep running guys out there. This is not a big market team when you're running guys out like the following: Nick Sogard, Abraham Toro, who's actually been decent, but Abraham Toro, David Hamilton, Connor Wong hasn't had an extra base hit since last September. He has no RBI on the season. Ceddanne Rafaela, but he definitely has value thanks to his otherworldly glove in center field. He is a damn good center fielder. I can live with that for a while, but not when the rest of this lineup is straight ass. And meanwhile, general manager or chief baseball executive officer clown bro Craig Breslow continues to make excuses as to why Roman Anthony, the number one consensus prospect on every list in baseball, continues to toil down and Worcester. And he says, well, it's because we need him to make sure that he can hit breaking balls that are in the zone. We need to make sure his development is completely there. But yet you're willing to let Christian Campbell go out there every day and suck and be over his head. And you're willing to put Marcelo Meyer in the cleanup spot after 5 games. That's total BS. That's total BS. It's hypocrisy at best, but it's total BS on Craig Breslow's part. And like I've said all along, I'm going back to it again. Trevor's Story is the shoe that needs to drop. Period. If he goes, Rafaela can come in and he can play a great defensive second base or shortstop. He'd still be really good there, and he's still a better hitter than Trevor Story is. And Ceddanne Rafaela is not a very good hitter. I'm sorry, he just isn't. Then you can put Roman Anthony in left, move Duran back to center where he started off his big league career, and there you have it. At least you've got something you can work with. Now, ideally, they find a way to get Devers to swallow his pride, although I'm not even sure that I'm all for this. You get him to swallow his pride, you put him at first, then you can bring Yoshida back and have him DH. Then you've got a real offense all of a sudden. But how are they going to survive 2 months without Alex Bregman? Like this, they can't do it. They can't. They won't. They cannot do it. So I feel like, team's still not committed to winning. We're not 100% seriously putting out the best product that we can on the field. And maybe that's why it feels like Alex Cora is checked out. Maybe, therefore, he's run his course, but he's not going anywhere. You guys who don't want to talk about this, you'll keep talking about it till you're blue in the faces. He's not going anywhere. He just signed a 3-year extension over the winter. You'd have to go 60-44 the rest of the way. You have 104 games left. You'd have to go, 60-44 the rest of the way, or 61-43 the rest of the way to get to 87-88 wins and be a playoff team. Don't mind me, my cat's throwing up behind me. Does anyone think that it's possible they're going to go 60-44 or 61-43? Because the answer to that question right now is absolutely friggin' not. They'd be more likely to go in the opposite end of those records. 87 wins, you got to go 60-44. 87 wins is the minimum that you're going to need to make it into the playoffs. And I don't see it. Just don't see it. It's not realistic right now. And it's unacceptable, once again, from a major market team in the Boston Red Sox. I know we're only 6 years in, but I'm going to float a theory out to you guys. So you're not going to like it because we're only 6 years in. You okay? Yeah, he's okay. That's good. We're only 6 years in. But remember the curse of the Bambino? They traded away a Hall of Fame first ballot all-time great player, and they didn't win the World Series for 86 years after that. Well, it's only been 6. But what about the curse of Mookie Betts? What about the Mookie curse? What if this team goes another 46 or 56 years without winning the World Series because you traded away a future first ballot Hall of Fame talent in Mookie Betts? Don't tell me it can't happen again. Anyway, folks, we will continue on in this relatively quick edition of that Terranadome. Again, my name is Scott Terrana. We have been doing shows for once a week. Just recently crossed the 50 episode barrier once again on the show. It's been a great year that we've been back. We've been back since last June. It's been pretty awesome. Um, and we will continue moving forward. Once a week for now. Maybe if we get some more funding, then we can do a couple episodes a week because I would honestly like to do that. And I think you guys would enjoy it too. So now we shift to the NBA playoffs, folks, where we have the Indiana Pacers leading the New York Knicks 3-1 with game 5 tonight in Madison Square Garden. Tip-off is going to be just after 8 p.m. in that one. The Indiana Pacers, they have proven to be the better team easily so far. Granted, all 4 games have been close, but Indiana won the first 2 games on the road in New York, 138-135 and 114-109, and they should have won game 3 at home because they were up 15 points with 2:13 left in the third quarter before never being in jeopardy by the fourth quarter of game 4. I had a theory last round. I had Josh on the show, and I had a theory when the Knicks were playing the Celtics that eventually Tom Thibodeau's excessive use of his starters and refusal to have more than a 2-player bench was going to catch up with these guys. And it looks like it may be doing just that in the playoffs. All 5 of the Knicks starters are averaging over 35 minutes a game, right? So Mikal Bridges is averaging exactly 40 minutes a game. OG Anunoby, 39.6 minutes a game. Jalen Brunson, 38.3. Josh Hart, 36.6. And Karl Anthony Towns, 35.3 minutes per game. That can really wear on you when you're 16 games deep into a playoff run because playoff basketball, sorry to say it, Knicks fans, but it's much more demanding than the regular season. Simply put, the Pacers match up well. Nesmith can handle Aaron Nesmith. He can handle Jalen Brunson on the defensive end, and every so often he can provide some offense for you too. I believe he won game 2 for the Pacers with like 5 threes in the fourth quarter, something like that. Now, Jalen Brunson in this series has gone for 33.3 points per game. That's pretty damn good, but he is a minus 26 rating, meaning that the opposing team has scored 26 more points than his team has when he's been on the floor through 4 games. Mikal Bridges has a minus 33 rating. Josh Hart, only 8.5 points per game and a minus 10 rating. OG Anunoby, 17.5 points per game and a minus 6 rating. Karl Anthony Towns, the only player on the Knicks to have a positive net rating. So, folks, long story short, I think the Knicks will get this thing to game 6. I think they will win it tonight. They will send it back to Indiana. It will not get past that. So, when the Pacers get it done, they will have to face the Oklahoma City Thunder. Oklahoma City Thunder have been the best team in the NBA all season long, and they have now appeared to have peaked at the right time, folks. This is really when you want to be playing your best basketball, obviously. I was dead wrong. They closed out Minnesota. Josh and I were both wrong about both of these series. They closed out Minnesota in 5 games, and they beat them down while doing it. The average margin of victory in this series for the Oklahoma City Thunder was 18.3 points per game. They, of course, were led by NBA MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who averaged 29.8 points per game, 5.7 boards, 6.9 assists, and 1.6 steals. You also have, and these are playoff stats, right? So he's averaging 30, 6, 7, and 1.6 steals a game. You have Jalen Williams playing second fiddle, 20.4 points per game, 5.8 boards, 5.3 assists, 1.6 steals of his own. And Chet Holmgren, who I told you a couple of weeks back, I thought was better and needed to be better if they were gonna make it as far as we thought that they could. Holmgren in the playoffs has gone for 16.4 points, 8.6 boards, and 2 blocks a game. They certainly look ready. They look poised to be a very rare young team that breaks through for a championship. The finals begin next Thursday, June 5th. And folks, we will have an all-new episode of that Terranadome with a preview of those finals. Maybe I get Josh back on the show. I know I always say, oh, Josh, sorry, I'm kicking you out for a while. And then 2 weeks later, I bring him back. But when that final series begins, we will have to ignore the fact that, again, Josh and I picked Minnesota and the New York Knicks to win the conference finals, and the exact opposite is going to happen. Finals start June 5th, folks. But we will now move to the quick hit segment. of the portion of the show. And guys, I struggled a little bit coming up with these this week, but let's see how you think I did. Okay. First one's kind of juicy, and it's definitely a current one. Patriots, New England Patriots, new free agent wide receiver signing Stefon Diggs. He was seen in a video partying on a boat off the coast of Miami with a bunch of ladies and he was distributing. There was something in a bag, looked like a pink powdery substance, which apparently is commonly referred to as these days as liquid cocaine. I just happened to learn about this just a couple weeks before this happened. Interestingly enough, I did not do anything with it. Didn't say that. I just talked to somebody who happened to know something about it. Don't you do that. Anyway, this is a drug or a powder or whatever that's normally found with ketamine and or MDMA and opioids, etc. in it. Doesn't usually actually have cocaine in it. It seems like it's quite the opposite. Now, is this a big deal? Is this a big deal? Because a lot of people are up in arms about it. Certainly, it raises questions about Diggs's decision making and priorities, right? You could certainly say that. My first question would be if you knew that you had stuff like that on you, why in that blue hell would you ever let somebody record you doing that? That is questionable. Ultimately, I do not think this is a big deal. It's not a big deal. This guy works his ass off. Remember that. He's been doing damage control for the last 2 days ever since this happened, too, where he's been putting a ton of Instagram reels of him just doing workouts and drills, and he's covered in sweat. Looks great. It looks very fast. Looks very agile. Ultimately, this dude works his ass off. He's going to be fine. But was that dumb? Yes. Yes, it was dumb. But is it a big concern? I stop short of that. I do believe that when push comes to shove, it's not great that he wasn't at OTAs the next day. That's not great. It's not a great example. I will give you all of that. It's not a great example. Is it a huge deal? I don't think so. Because Mike Vrabel probably already got his ass in line. I think the Diggs is going to be just fine. He's going to be a positive for this team come week 1 and really come July when training camp starts. Do not worry about that. This guy is a friggin' worker. It is not a big deal. It is a little bit embarrassing and it's pretty stupid, but it's not a big deal. Okay, quick hit point number 2. This one's kind of out of the blue a little bit, but I thought it was pretty interesting. Follow me if you can on this one. So on Wednesday, Pittsburgh Pirates young ace starter Paul Skenes. You may have heard of this guy, especially if you're a friend of mine and you're in fantasy baseball. You definitely know who this guy is. Paul Skenes became just the second pitcher in the history of Major League Baseball to have a sub 2.3 ERA and 245 plus strikeouts through his first 35 career starts. Let me say that again. Paul Skenes became just the second pitcher in the history of Major League Baseball to have a sub 230 ERA and 245 plus strikeouts through his first 35 appearances. Only one other person has done it. Skenes at 35 career starts. Talk about hitting the ground running. 2.03 earned run average. Unbelievable. And 247 strikeouts. The only other pitcher to do this. Shout outs to Dave if he ever listens to this. Guy used to listen to my show all the time, but anyway. The only other pitcher to do this is the late Jose Fernandez, tragically killed in a boating/cocaine accident about a decade ago. Jose Fernandez had a 209 ERA and 252 strikeouts in his first 35 appearances. So this isn't a super quick hit, right? But I'm asking myself because I want to ask and answer it for all you. How special is this guy, Paul Skenes, who a lot of you guys probably don't know about because he is on an organization that does not give a crap? How special is Paul Skenes? And would Jose Fernandez have been a Hall of Famer? Okay, I'll answer the second question first. Jose Fernandez, 100% slam dunk would have been a Hall of Famer. 100%. And as far as Paul Skenes goes, when he is on the Yankees or the Dodgers, or even perhaps the Red Sox, but I doubt it. In a few years, everybody will know how special this guy is. He has an all-time ceiling. Gone are the days of 300 win pitchers. We know that. But the sky is the absolute limit on Paul Skenes. And of course, there's always the other shoe, right? This guy, his average fastball is faster than anybody's in baseball, including relievers, I believe. Over 98 miles an hour, average fastball. So he's maxing out on his fastball almost every time. If you've seen him throw the baseball, you know that the delivery's a little violent. He's a big, big kid. But when does the Tommy John surgery happen? And how does he bounce back from it? Those are big questions. For example, it is not cut and dry anymore. It's really never been 100%, right? But not all pitchers do bounce back 100% from Tommy John. Look at Sandy Alcantara in Miami right now. He has an 8 plus ERA. Can't throw strikes. Guy who won the Cy Young got Tommy John a couple years ago now. And also Shane Baz of the Tampa Bay Rays. Sky was the limit on him. Got his Tommy John. It's been 2 years. He's not the same guy anymore either. So the sky is the limit with Paul Skenes, but when he gets hurt and how he comes back is going to be everything. You have to assume with these young pitchers that there is going to be elbow surgery at some point. But Skenes potentially, absolutely could be an all-timer. So that's just one to watch, baseball fans. If you like good baseball stuff, go watch Paul Skenes throw the ball. Sometimes he was dominant again yesterday. 6 shutout innings, 7 strikeouts against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Definitely check him out if you're a fan of just dominance and filth. Okay, quick hit number 3. These will get quicker now. The Florida Panthers, they have advanced to the Stanley Cup Finals. They are the defending champs. They're looking to go back-to-back. And the Edmonton Oilers, they are up 3-1 in the West Finals. When, not if, but when Edmonton advances past Dallas, who do you root for, and what is your pick? And again, I'm asking my own questions, right? This segment works better when somebody else is on the show. I get that. For me, I would rather root for Edmonton, but I can't. Because Brad Marchand, who started the season as the captain of the Boston Bruins, well, he's on the Florida Panthers now, as I've documented several times in this show. I am rooting for him to get that cup that he deserves. He deserves more than one in his career. I'd like to see him get it as much as I don't like Florida in the least bit. I cannot stand their head coach, Paul Maurice, whether he's good or not, and he is. But something tells me Florida repeats, and that Canada will continue to not have a Stanley Cup champion for the 33rd consecutive season. Would it be better for hockey and fandom in general if Edmonton were to beat Florida? You bet your ass it would be. But it wouldn't be as profitable for the league. If you can't figure out why that is, I don't really know what to tell you. But I think Florida will get it done. They repeat as Cup champions. Okay, bullet point number 4. And I think that you guys probably have some opinions on this one, but is there any more underappreciated or disrespected star player in the NBA than Jason Tatum? The answer to that question is flat out no. Nobody is more underappreciated or disrespected than Jason Tatum. I'll give you an example. The ESPN put up some graphic on one of their shows, it might have been SportsCenter, whatever, and it showed star players that have won championships as homegrown players. They had Nikola Jokic and Giannis on there, and Dirk Nowitzki, who have all won one. But guess who wasn't on that graphic? Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown wasn't either, but Jason Tatum. Not on the graphic. No one more disrespected by the national media. It's a damn shame that he got hurt and had to go out the way he did, and we won't get to see him for the better part of a year. Not fair to the kid. Works too hard. It's a bummer for sure, but that's the case. The answer to that question is absolutely 100% yes. And the final one, final quick hit of the day on the Terranadome, guys, and it is The last, okay. So first of all, I'm a big racing fan. If nobody can figure that out with the NASCAR case that I have behind me over there, um, big racing fan, right? So last Sunday, it was the last Triple Crown of Racing day when the Monaco Grand Prix, the Indianapolis 500, and the World 600 all took place on the same day. Formula One is moving its Monaco day in 2026. So this was the last iteration of having the greatest racing day of the year. Of course, Monaco, with the cars being too big, is basically just 78 parade laps. So not great, but you still watch it for the scenery of it and everything. But here's the talking point. Kyle Larson, who has recently declared himself as the best driver in the world, I think that's hogwash. He's one of the best, but it's hogwash to say that he is. Kyle Larson once again attempted to do the double. He attempted to run the full 500 miles at Indianapolis and then fly down to Charlotte to participate and make all 600 miles in the Coca-Cola 600, or also known as the World 600. He did not make he did not come through on his bid for the second year in a row. He's tried and not been able to do it. He actually crashed out of both races. Last year, the weather disrupted his bid before he even had a real shot at it. And he actually ended up missing most of the Coca-Cola 600 as it turned out. So Tony Stewart, one of the greatest drivers of any sport, any series, any type of car ever, still winning at the NHRA level, as a matter of fact. Nice segue into what I'll be doing this weekend. Only driver ever to complete all 1,100 miles on that day. Others have finished both races, namely Kurt Busch and Robbie Gordon, but they have been a lap down at one or the other. While there is no denying that completing the double would be an amazing achievement, can it ever be done again? It cannot. It simply cannot. The race, the Indy 500 simply starts too late. Too many cautions or too many weather issues will always prevent. But Larson only had a 45-minute window this year anyway. Even if he had completed the race, he may have not even had the chance to complete the race. He probably would have had to bail. So while it is an amazing achievement, I don't think it can ever be done again. That's the show, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Once again, as always, please do the likes, the hits, the subscribe button, and all that good stuff. Leave a comment, leave a thumbs up, leave a thumbs down. I know there's one or two of you out there that keeps on leaving a thumbs down. I think that's adorable. So anyway, I appreciate it. My name is Scott Terrana. It's the Terranadome. Like I said, we'll be back next Thursday. Next Thursday, folks. We will preview the NBA Finals and all that good stuff. Have a blessed weekend. Tell somebody you love them today because tomorrow is not promised, folks. That is 100% the case. Tomorrow is not promised. Tell somebody you love them today. My name is Scott. As I said, you guys have a good one. We will be back next Thursday with an all-new Terranadome. Peace.